Oh, so are the microphones working? Yes, yes, yes. I don't know why my camera's been doing that lately. So, well, hello everyone. Um, so I had this idea for quite a while now about telling ghost stories live, because I always had a fascination with ghost stories. Um, one moment. I've been so slow lately. Okay, there we go. Um, so I had this fascination with ghost stories, and to me, it sort of began when I was in school. I was in fifth grade. I think this is where my fascination grew even more. I was in fifth grade, and it was raining. It was stormy, and I was in my math class, in Mrs. Olson's class. I can't believe I still remember this. And the lights went out, and she had a flashlight. The light was dim, and I remember she got a book out and she told us a scary story. And after the story was done, I went up to her and I asked her, "Hey, what book is that?" I was so fascinated by it, and she showed me the series of these books, and they were written back in the 80s. I think the first one was like 82 or 83. I should have done research, right? And scary stories to tell in the dark. And that day, I called my sister. I told her to take me to the library, drop me off, and I was at the library looking for these books like crazy. I ordered them and I read them fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, and I just read all their stories over and over again. I kind of regret not have I never purchased the books. I used to go to the town bookstore, and I've never purchased the books, and I had them, and I thought they were expensive, and obviously for someone at that age, anything's expensive. So that's how I got started into ghost stories, and everywhere I went, I always had some kind of ghost story to tell, and things like that. But I have ran dry today. So I want to open this forum for you guys to call in and tell me your ghost story, and we can share it amongst each others, you know? So if you are interested in calling in, telling your ghost story, try to keep it under 5 minutes so that we can all get a chance to talk about them. Um, so yeah, I do pay attention to the comments, so I know what's going on. So I don't see the comments. Oh, don't be playing that. Hey, where is my comments? Oh, there they are. There we go. Yeah, so let me know in the comments so I can send you the number, or send me a private message. I'll send you the number, and you can call in and we can discuss your ghost story. Um, I always been fascinated by ghosts, poltergeists, mediums, and psychics, and all this stuff, and it scared me in the beginning, but I just fell in love with it. I mean, even the Bible, when it comes to reading the Bible, I always look for the scariest stories. I'm fascinated by the Witch of Endor when the king goes looking for her, and he's looking to summon the spirit of the prophet Samuel. Is it Samuel? I don't even remember my Bible stories, but the prophet appears, and I saw a movie, and the director did a great job recreating that scene, and it kind of did give me the creeps. She was not a medium; she was a necromancer. So let's get that straight. I know Julio told me that he had a story about his sister when she was younger. So if he wants to give us a call so he can talk about it, I would love it. So and I was able to keep my intro under 5 minutes. No, within 5 minutes. This is sparkling water from Costco. Hello?
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Julio. So you were telling me that you had a ghost story. Is that right?
Well, it's not necessarily a ghost story, but it's like an eerie story, I guess you can say.
Uh-huh.
And it involves my sister when she was a little baby.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, okay, the story goes like this. Me and my family had gone because my parents are, they're fond of going to yard sales. So we had gone to a yard sale on a weekend, and my mom is into collecting like little miniature dolls. So she found a pair of, I don't know what they're called, but you know those dolls that have the porcelain head with the stuffing with the stuffed body.
Ooh, I hate
That
those.
look, yeah. Well, we found a pair of those dolls. There was I guess like a male and a female, and we took them home. Right, we bought them and we took them home. And at that time, my sister was about 2 years old or one. I don't remember exactly. And my mom put the dolls in her crib. So I remember that one night, because I used to sleep next to my sister, well, on the room next to my sister. And I remember one night waking up in the middle of the night and hearing my sister, a baby talk, and then like a little voice, like a little voice talking back to her, like she was having a conversation with, I don't know what it was, but like a little, it sounded like a little mouse talking back to her. And I woke
Ooh.
up and got scared. Like when you feel something eerie is happening around you, you get the like goosebumps and goosebumps, and then you just get that eerie feeling.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So then,
Like
so
something's
then,
wrong.
yeah, like when something's wrong. So then after that, I didn't know what to do. So I got up and then I went to her room, and I kept hearing the little voices talking to my sister, and my sister was just laughing at it like like a little happy baby talking back to them in the little baby talk. And then when I opened the door, I turned the light, and I saw the two little dolls sitting straight up, facing my sister. My sister was sitting up also on one end of the crib, and then the dolls were sitting on the other end, and they were just like staring at her, like they were staring at her, and I think it was them talking to her or something. I don't know.
You know, I I I have always been afraid of those kind of dolls, the porcelains. I For some reason like they're even though they're frozen, they don't move or anything like their face. But I feel like one
Yeah,
day I'm gonna be like sitting there and just looking at the doll, and it's just gonna blink at me.
it was scary. I
You
don't
know,
know. It was just the
it
the
literally
the feeling you
scares.
get when you hear that. It just petrified me. It
It
was scary.
literally
And then we
scares
got
me.
rid of them. And then I told my sister to this day, I was like, "Do you remember what happened, with those dolls and anything happening with a conversation you had with some dolls?" And she's like, "No." And then I was like, "Yeah, you probably didn't because you were like one or two."
Wow.
But it was scary. Okay, and that's my story.
Hold on. I think somebody's trying to call, but it's not letting them in. I think that's the number. You know, when I was in Mexico, my I'm gonna talk until hopefully they can get in. Um, all right, Julio. Well, thank you.
Alright, I'm gonna hang up. I can keep watching you.
Ándale pues.
Okay, bye.
Bye. You know, and when I was in Mexico, I my grandma had very similar dolls in there. They were like maybe like half like my torso as big, and she had them on top of this like shelf, like a wardrobe on very top. And there were those dolls that if you lay them down, they'll close their eyes, and you pick them up and they'll open their eyes. And I remember we were in the bedroom and we were sitting there, my cousins and I, and we're listening to music, we're talking, and I looked at the dolls, and one of them literally just closed its eyes and it blinked. I was so terrified. We all ran out of the bedroom. We were scared, and you know, my I was like, I was terrified because I was supposed to sleep in that room that night, and I didn't want to. I was really really scared, and I just went there. I had my rosary. I put on a rosary. I had a flashlight, and I literally prayed the entire night because I was like terrified. And my mom had this book of prayers, and and I read the whole thing through the entire night. Um, I remember like a couple days later, my grandmother's cat was kept on scratching the door and scratching the door, and I wouldn't let him in. You know, I wasn't gonna sleep with a cat. And I grabbed the cat. I opened the door. I grabbed the cat and just put him in the kitchen and closed the door, and then went back into the bedroom. The next morning, the cat was dead, and for something was like terrifying the cat. And the funny thing, this is what I found very peculiar. They had another cat. The cat grabbed this cat by its neck, took it to the yard next door, and like put it in a hole. And that has always had me like troubled. Is like, what? Why would they do that? Like, why would a cat or an animal do that? You know, bury its own. You know, I'm still puzzled by it. So yeah. Um, Looks like we had somebody else trying to call, but it didn't work out. So you know, and this is my first attempt doing this thing. You know, it wasn't very well planned or organized. So I want to apologize for the long pauses and everything. So we're just giving it a shot here. I had somebody else too that wanted to call, and I guess they must have fallen asleep. I know Patricia was telling me this story a while ago about her and the Ouija board. Just about everybody I know has a story with the Ouija board, and the Ouija board is so fascinating because I have used it maybe about 5 or 6 times, and maybe 3 times it worked out, and the other times it was just like there, like nothing happened. So let me get the number because I don't know it by heart. So those of you that want to call, send me a private message, and I'll give you the number. Oh, there we go. Hello?
Hey, it worked out this time.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Me too. Yeah. So my story happened when I was 14. We went to visit my cousin in the north of Peru. It was her 15th birthday. and we were doing the celebration preparations, and everything was great. So that afternoon, we were playing across the street from her house. There was an abandoned building, and my cousin decided to start throwing stones. And one of those chances, they throw the stone and they cracks one of the windows, and a bunch of cats starts coming out. So that night, the party's going on, everything is well. Then there's a power outage. The whole city was blackout. It was about 11:30 or midnight, I believe. So everybody, started going home. Everybody that was staying at the party, stay at the party. And we were in the house. Suddenly we start hearing people knocking on the door. So we went and checked, and there was nobody. All right, so we closed the door. We thought it was somebody playing, a prank on us. So my cousin decides to go outside, and he's sitting outside on a step ladder next to the door, and everybody's quiet, and then we hear the door knock again, and my cousin, it's like white, like pale white, and he heard the knocking, but there was nobody. So in the middle of the night, we're already in bed. It's about 2 in the morning. We're all lying down. All the cousins are sleeping on the floor. All the aunts and uncles are in the rooms. And then there's a bathroom that is really between the two main bedrooms. And the glass in the bathroom window broke from inside out. It exploded from inside out, and nobody knew how this happened. That is my closest story of a ghost or something or hunting. Then my cousin told us, the reason why that happened is because we were messing around with the house across the street, and rumor has it that there's some witches that lived in that house. So that was that. That next day, we were walking down the street, and the power cuts back, and as we're crossing the street from one corner to the other, the street lights start flickering right above us as we're crossing the street. So we cross one street, we go across, the lights start flickering, we go across again, and the lights start flickering again. We get to the center, to the downtown area, and all the power of the city goes off again.
Wow.
So we start walking back to the house. We're talking about, I would say, maybe 3 miles from where they live.
Uh-huh.
We're walking, and mind you, the whole city is on a blackout. And as we're crossing the street, the lights start flickering. It was just freaky. So, and this is not just me looking at this. This is my sisters, my cousins, my mother, my uncles, my aunts. We were all walking because there was a festivity going on in the city. So, yeah, that was my ghost experience. Most recent one, I would have to say, was like, I think, February or January, we went to Sacramento, me and a friend. As we're coming back from Sacramento, on the Highway 5, there's this curved area coming back towards, to the west. I saw an orb on the highway during daylight. In the middle of the day, I saw this orb, and he came through my windshield, through my chest. And being that I'm an empath, I was able to feel the emotions of this soul. And in my head, it was telling me it's not fair. Why did it have to be me? Why now? I did not know how to respond to that, but my first instinct was to tell them, you can't attach yourself to me. I don't know who you are, but it felt like a young soul. It felt like a young man, mid-20s, early 30s. Very sad moment. Felt like he did not understand the reason why he was experiencing this. And I began to cry. I began to feel the emotion on my chest and the pain, as if I was the person that had been injured. Um, and it carried on with me for about 15 minutes as I kept driving. My friend that was with me in the car, he's like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I explained it to him, and I told him, "Just don't touch me. Just let me be. I have to let it be, and it will pass," which it did. But he kept hunting me for a little bit. I guess that is my closest encounter with being an empath.
Huh. Well, I don't. I am so glad I'm not. I don't use that empathic ability, but once in a while, when I have done like very few mediumship readings where I allow the spirit to embody and I feel their emotions, I I mean, I guess I can be a little cold hearted for a while, but then like after a couple hours, I get start to get incredibly emotional, and it's like I one time I did cry. The second time I started to freak out because I was like, "Oh, what do I do? I still feel this person around me." And I knew they weren't there, but it was just that energy of them that was there. But I'm learning to control a little better, and I think that time that I brought your aunt in, I sort of did feel her sturdiness in that lamp. It was so like
Yeah,
that she really emphasized that lamp and the color and everything, and I was like, that kind of got stuck with me.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I still so that me mentioning this, I spoke to my sister. There's three of us. We have some energy in our family that it's been passed on from generation to generation.
Uh huh.
We are starting to learn more and more about it. Um, we don't know what it is. My sister calls it angelic energy. There's always someone's always watching over us, or there's a positive energy that's always caring for us. And we appreciate it, we celebrate it, and we let things happen. We trust our instinct. We just, things happen for a reason, just because it is in our experience going to happen. So if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. If it's going to happen, it does happen. Um, I I get premonitions of pregnancies at times. I have 7 on my belt right now. I
Yeah,
can actually
we
tell
talked about that
someone.
last time.
Yeah, and so it just happened like maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, that I told a friend of mine that I was having pregnancy feelings again, and she lit up like she wanted to tell me, but she couldn't tell me. And then after everything, she was like, "Yep, somebody's pregnant, and you know who it is." I was like, "No," and she's like, "Yep." So yeah, definitely. We were talking. I actually had an emotion. I had one of those cold chills inside my car, and I don't have the AC on, where my whole body just went. There was a sensation as I was crossing the street, the highway. So it's interesting because it happens to be closer to where this person jumped onto the freeway a couple of days ago and
Oh yeah,
died
yeah. Is that the one on was it 101 in San
on
Jose?
101. Yeah, I actually just crossed the 101 and the 880 cross, and this happened probably like a mile away from where I was.
At that time?
Right now, just now.
Oh, creepy.
I know. I'm not letting it. I don't not letting it overtake or anything, but I just had that sensation.
For a while, uh, the neighbors lost their daughter, and for a while, every reading that I try to do, if this person like had some kind of connection with that person, they will just try to come in and wanted to speak. But then when they had the opportunity to talk, they were like kind of stuck. They couldn't say everything. And actually, a few days ago, I was walking home. It was dark. I sprinted into the house because I was scared. You know, I might do this spirit work, but I still get scared at nights. Um, and she said, the light is coming on, the light is coming on, the light is coming on, over and over and over again. And she seemed very, very excited. And she's like, it's finally coming on. A few days later, there was a newspaper article saying that they finally were finished with the investigation and they have concluded what really did happen. And I was like, wow, so that's what the light was on. You know, and she got really excited, but she also saying that she still wants to talk to the family. And ironically, after she said that, 3 days later, somebody told me, you know, they're actually very curious to know what she's saying at this moment on the other side. And I always have a deal with them. You know, if you want me to talk to them, you bring them to me. I don't know why my camera's acting a little funky today. So.
Oh, it's me.
No, my camera's acting funky.
Notice that. Yeah, but when we started talking earlier, it started doing that too.
Wow. Well, that was a good story. So hopefully we can continue with this little show. I think on Friday I want to get together with Patricia here on live and talk about premonitions and predictions and all that stuff. And I wanted to see if I can do a prediction using the tarot cards about what's going on here in California. So I've never done it, so it might be interesting to see how it goes.
So I was listening to this lady from Colombia the other day, and she had a prediction that there was going to be this huge earthquake south of the border of the United States. I don't know if you know that there was this huge earthquake in the jungles of Peru maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, there.
Yeah. So my mom was in Peru at the time, and she was telling us that the earthquake lasted for over 80 seconds.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, but the thing is that there were only 3 deaths. One was a young guy who got squashed over a rock rolling over their hut or something. And it didn't even happen where the earthquake happened. It happened further away. But this earthquake was felt all the way to Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, and parts of the coast of Peru. That's hecka creepy.
Wow. Oh, so, and there was also another earthquake in in the coast of over by San Diego. So. Yeah, I don't know. I think this might be a perfect opportunity to make predictions because, like I always say, it doesn't count after the fact. You know, you kind of have to make the prediction first, let people know, or at least put it in a way where there's a timestamp.
This lady made the prediction a while ago, not recently. She made the prediction a while ago, and I recently saw this video, maybe like 3 months ago, that I saw this video that this was coming this year. And it just said on the southern border of the United States.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if it's on video, there's a timestamp, obviously, so you can see when it was made, and then you can compare the prediction to that. So we're gonna give that a shot, and I think it might be interesting to do it.
All right. Well, it was great talking and sharing my stories. We'll talk about my experience with the Ouija board later.
Ooh, I love Ouija board. Oh, you can't see what I'm wearing, but I have my Ouija board.
I can. I know you have your blanket on behind you. You're wearing a green shirt.
Oh, wow.
And you're wearing your glasses.
You must be a witch.
And you're wearing blue sweatpants and a smile.
No, they're not blue. But, oh my God.
Well, they look blue from here.
Yeah, I can see my big fat belly. I just saw myself
It
on
isn't that
camera,
big.
so
Okay.
that's
Well,
really creepy though.
hmm
So, one last thing. Yeah, I remember you were telling me that your coworker was having like this experience with like her deceased husband.
Oh,
Is she still having them, or has everything like the paranormal activity has it stopped?
it has stopped for a while. Every now and then he comes to dreams, but she carries his ashes on her chest.
Huh.
So
But it's
yeah,
actually very interesting because a lot of like women lose their husbands and they're okay, they're able to date and nothing
he's
happens.
not letting go. He's not letting go. He's controlling everything. And what's worse is that he's now doing it through his son, and that is very, very sad.
Wow. So what
Yeah,
is he doing?
controlling her. He's controlling her money, controlling her where she has to live, all of this stuff. So yeah, it's another subject. We should talk about this more privately.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for hosting me on your show.
Alrighty. I will talk to you later.
All right. All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, that's that when he told me that story about his coworker, I'm amazed how people can be, even after death. Yeah, I have nothing to say. But I just find it interesting, and now that I think about it, I remember when I used to live a few blocks from here during my childhood. The first time I played the Ouija board was there. My parents had no idea what that was. It wasn't the traditional Ouija board, like this one, like I have in the colors. It had angels and it had all these beautiful pictures. So it looked like a board, like snakes and ladders. I need to find out what's going on with my camera. So sorry about that. So it was almost looked like snakes and ladders, and it came with a little glass. I do have it in my storage unit, which I'm gonna bring next time, so I can show you how it works and all that stuff. But it had a little glass, and we put it in the middle. We put our fingers. My dad he's pretty smart. He figured out what it was, and we're asking, is anybody there? Is anybody there? And we're just sitting there. And the girl that lived in our house, she might have been 8 or 9, and I was like 12, something like that. And the thing actually started to move, and it said, "I'm your brother." And I was like, "Well, I don't have a deceased brother." So I told her, I said, "I think you have a brother." And right after I said, "I think you have a brother," the thing moved to the number 2. Like it went all the way around the board, and it said 2. So with this number 2, I was like, "Oh, I wonder if you had two brothers or twins." And a couple years later, she actually discovered that she had twin brothers that have passed away. Let me see if I can find actually a picture of the board I have. So just in case you guys are curious to see what it looks like. Just give me 1 second and I'll do this really quick. It's just amazing with today's technology how you can do things on the fly. Um, bear with me. Bear with. Bear with. Bear with. Here we go. So that's the board I have. I do have it in my storage unit, and I haven't played with it. Actually, I did a few last year, but I haven't played with it recently. My story with this board, I played with one of my friends, and Hold on. Anybody else want to call? Oops. I'm just checking my messenger to see if anybody else wants to call so I can give them the number they can call. No. So if you guys want to call in, just send me a private message and I will send you a number that you can call in so you can tell me your story. I know this is the first time. It was kind of last minute, but I'm really am enjoying doing this, and I like ghost stories. Oh my goodness. I need to work on this camera. So my friend and I go to her house. I bring the board. We're sitting around the table. Her husband's an atheist, so he doesn't believe in this. This is total crap. And we have our fingers there, and obviously, it's anybody here? And I told her, oh, I feel a spirit of a man. Hold 1 minute. So I told her I feel the presence of a man, and we're asking him questions and everything. And he left. After that, I said, okay, I'm starting to smell chocolate chip cookies. And to me, the chocolate chip cookies is your grandmother. And I know that sounds very cliche. And I said, it's cliche, but it's your grandmother. Something about her chocolate chip cookies. And her husband was like, well, yeah, that's most grandmothers at that age were into the cooking and this and that. Right when he said that, the TV goes on, the candles go off, and her picture that's on the wall just collapses to the floor. And I was like, do you need any more evidence? Should we continue? And yeah, and you know, it was exciting. I was like, oh my god, my first paranormal experience. And he was like, this is an old house. The wiring is a little faulty. I'm gonna check it out tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But then he said he couldn't sleep for like a week or two. He kept on having these strange dreams about people coming in and all this stuff. I was like, oh, I don't know, man. This stuff is real for some people, and I get my moments of atheism where I just don't believe in this. So yeah, so I'm gonna make this the last call if anybody wants to call, and I know this is kind of last minute, and it's late. I have to get up early tomorrow morning. I'm going to Sacramento. Hopefully, I kind of do want to go to these photo video store. They're having a 75% sale, 75% off sale, and I just want to get more equipment. So I want to thank you guys for those of you that watched, and next Friday we're gonna work the logistics. We want to do a prediction night. I'll work on my camera. I want to do a prediction night. I'm gonna go call Patricia. She's gonna come on live, and we're gonna talk about predictions. I'm gonna do some tarot card readings, and I'll finish up with doing some tarot card readings. I don't know if Patricia wants to do double linking, so that means we both connect with each other to give you a reading, which is great practice. It's challenging, but it's fun at the same time. Hopefully Kayla will come on, and I can see if I can actually finish channeling the spirit that was here for her. And she seemed a little anxious of talking to her to deliver some kind of message with whatever is going on in her life. So we'll see if we can accomplish all that. So thanks for watching, you guys. I might come back online sometime this week, so stay tuned. I'll be home around 9 p.m., so keep an eye open. So, yeah, let me know if you have any ideas. And please let me know if you have an idea of what to call my show, because I want to deal with different topics among the same genre. So, as you've been watching, try to figure out a name what I can call it. I keep thinking my magical life or something like that. So I will catch you guys later. And thanks for watching.